Docking request accepted.
Good morning, New Eden. Today is August 9th, 2026, and this is the Federation Frontline Report. I'm your host, Frozen Fallout, and my co-host is Nightflyer. How's it going?
Hi, good morning, Frozen, and everybody tuning into the show. Thank you guys for showing up. Talking about some stuff going on here in the faction warfare, mainly in the south. The big news is the insurgency here in Hades has reached stage 5, so we now have bubbles down here,
Yeah, we
making this
just ran
a
into
happy
that
place
when
to
we
go up
were
if
on
you
our
want
way
to have a
home.
fight. So grab your ships, boys and girls, and fire up them guns. We're gonna do some battle.
Yeah, lots of
So.
fights happening down in Hedi Les here. There's bubbles that are allowed now. Um, There's also a bunch of fighting that's happening up in Aldernet as well for the Galente right now. There's no insurgency that's happening up there, but there is Keldari versus Galente fighting up in Aldernet, which we were just in, and yeah, it's very very hot. Lots of enemies up there for fighting to be had. There's
Yeah, they're
currently a
holding
gay
on to
camp in
that.
Hades.
They're holding on to that whole pocket up there from Alternate North. Of course, Nanamilia is still hot, always is, flipping back and forth, same as Varul. So, um, but yeah, I mean, it's they're slugging it out pretty good up there.
Yeah, and so the main story that we're going to be talking about tonight is focusing in on 0.0 actually. So some of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about here before we get started deep into what's going on, we do have an update from Vapor from 0.0. So let's go ahead and put that up on the screen here and let you guys know what's going on with Vapor.
Hello, New Eden, and welcome to the first episode of our new weekly Vapor recap. Let's take a look at what's new in Vapor this week. Let's kick things off with a fun little fight over Vapor's new Astra House in Providence. Our Nightmare fleet absolutely shredded CVA's response fleet, as expected, as CVA chose to fight our Nightmares and Ravens. They put up a good fight, but ultimately died under laser pressure. After we secured the grid, we waited out the anchor timer, and solidified a foothold in Providence. Shout out to our brave Dictor pilots for holding their fleet down a little longer than they would have liked. If this fight was any indication, Providence is a potential content videos for weeks, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. Later in the week, Init made a surprise visit to Brave Space. We showed up a little late to the party, but we still managed to whore on a few kill mills and have some laughs along the way. We also had the pleasure this week of forming up a Nightmare fleet, which, of course, rewarded us with the glorious, all too familiar power of Blue Balls! But, you know, sometimes that's just Eve. You form up, everyone gets hyped, the fleet is ready to go, and then the bad guys decide that they'd rather dock up than take a fight. It's just part of the game. Finally, to end the week in style, we successfully dropped our staging Fortizar and Catch, marking the beginning of our new deployment to Providence. With our foothold nearly secured, we took the opportunity to reinforce all hostile structures in the system, making sure the area would be as safe as possible for the next phase of the campaign. With the stage now set, with the potential for a massive brawl on the border of Providence, will the locals have something to say about our trespass, or will they just let it slide this time? And that's a wrap for the very first episode of the Weekly Vapor Recap. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And we'll see you again next week for even more fights, more explosions, and many more adventures across New Eden. Fly dangerous, and see you next time.
So I have it on a good authority that was very loud. Apparently, we're gonna. That was our first.
I had it muted for like the first half, and I was like, "Wow, he's got that really cranked down. I can't hear a thing."
Oh, and then I did because I thought it was a little bit too quiet, so I raised it up. We'll see how that works out on the. We'll have to keep tampering with that. But yeah, so
we'll blame it on Discord.
We'll just blame it on Discord. Fuck Discord. But yeah, so the big thing here is basically that Vapor out of the blue is currently on an attack of the CVA. So let me bring up one thing here. Map. That, you know, I should probably have had this all set and ready, but
nah, that'd be way too professional. We can't.
I don't want to be professional.
That kind of standard.
It's ridiculous. So if we kind of show you here, let me go ahead and grab this and pull it up a little bit. Where did that go? There it is. So as you can kind of see here, we've got Goon Swarm, you've got Sigma, and if you look right here, we got Out of the Blue, and then you got the CVA, and you can see that there's Out of the Blue, or there's some, oh, sorry. There is some, oh no, we took some space and then we gave it away. That was one of the things that we did. But CVA up here in Providence is currently under assault by Out of the Blue Vapor. So we've been having some fun down in that area. We've dropped a Fortizar, we've gotten a couple of fights, we've gotten a few blue balls that have happened. In fact, I also have heard that there's the frat has come down and started attacking a couple of things, and we've actually joined up with CVA to help defend one of the recent structures that came under assault by frat. Nothing came of it, blue balls of course. So but yeah, recently we've been we deployed to CVA space just to have fun for the most part. I saw there was a big post on Reddit recently about people complaining about us taking space, and we immediately sold it. Like as soon as that post was up, it was basically like we'd already sold the space because we weren't there to take the space. We're just trying to find fights, you know. We're just looking to, you know, you got to poke the bear in order to wake it up, right?
Yeah, that's a method. Again, it's all about trying to create content.
Right, yeah.
You know, we can't just have guys ratting all the time. That's great, but you know, unfortunately, we want to dock ships once in a while. That's how you do that. You know, it's not faction warfare space out there where, you know, you got fights out your front door. I said you gotta build stuff up to go get them.
In other news that we do have, we also have reports of the Red Menace Coalition is currently deploying out or evacuating out. So let me pull up. We can give you a little map here of where. Oh, did I close that? Coalition map here. You can kind of see the Red Menace Coalition used to be inside of the drone lands here. They've got a little bit of space over in the Providence kind of area near Ketch. And so the thing is that they're going to be pulling all the way out of drone lands. They're going to be repopulating themselves in the Providence area. So it sounds like the Russians and their allies will be pulling out of the drone lands and resituating themselves right into where our war zone is. So I'm kind of interested. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, they've got a long history of providing good fights, good content, and activity. So, yeah, if they're going to populate next door near us, it's going to be fun. It could be fun. Be some good stuff. I still have some ships on mothballs. I don't want to get out, so.
Yeah, I mean, well, think about 0.0, it's expensive. The fleet doctrines that they have are like, billions of ISK worth of ships, which is one of the reasons why I like fact warfare is that, putting out anything over like 200 million ISK is like, holy shit, you threw something expensive out there.
Yeah, we're handing out ships for our fleets, just like we just did prior to the show. They don't do that a whole lot out there. I mean, they got really good reimbursements in Vapors, so if you lose a ship, they'll cover it. But you just got to buy the ship initially.
You have to get the
close
ship.
That up, and yeah, you got to have one in this system and one in that system and one over here, and times that by like 8 ships. It gets expensive pretty quick.
So what have you been up to lately? I haven't seen much of you lately. You've been you've been up to anything in EVE lately?
I've actually been doing a lot of work with my alts. One of the things I've been trying to do is some of the Gallente opportunity things that they have set up. So I'd actually moved a couple of my alts that have nothing to do with faction warfare or anything. They literally, I was using them for marketing and doing some ratting and more or less experimenting. Or there are several alpha accounts that I started up just in case someday I needed somebody. So they're like fully trained alphas, and they're just kind of sitting with stacks of ready to go Omega and use up skill points. But so I recently had people move to Orville and go to the station and have to build pioneers or something to start with that. But I got them kind of in position to just kind of do some of the Gallente opportunities that they have posted and kind of give those a try. But I've been bouncing around faction warfare a little bit, doing some solo stuff, nothing too exciting really to report back. I've been kind of sucky. I mean, this is my long week, so I'm stuck at work. Wife's out of town, so I have to play, real life dad for a little bit, pay attention to the kids, that kind of bullshit, But that's all good. And trying to help my mom. My mom's finally out of the boot cast. You guys don't know or haven't been listening to the show over time. My mom fell down the stairs, broke her leg, and elderly woman with a broken leg. It's a big thing. It's a big change. She couldn't drive, so that was a lot of my real life activities between work and helping her out, and doing dad stuff.
Busy, yeah.
Kind of my life. I've been, and not to mention, I've really been diving into a lot of some sideline projects and stuff, things outside of EVE. I'm I'm going out to Dragonfall in October. Dragonfall is it's a charitable gaming event. It's not like Gen Con, but it's like Gen Con.
Okay, yeah.
No, it's a big deal. It's in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, so it's the home of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
A lot of people are showing up there. I'm going for a lot of the art classes. I've signed up for like 6 art classes out there. A lot of streamers and stuff that I watch. They're coming down. Adam Smatcher, aka Uncle Adam, he's coming down. He's the guy that hosts Tabletop Minions, and he hosted the Oshkosh meetup that I went to a couple last month, and he's coming down for that. My buddy Ed from Monster Den Minis is coming teaching some painting classes. Looking forward to meeting him in person instead of just the online chats. So, but yeah, a lot of art stuff, a lot of tabletop gaming things going on. So I've been concentrating on that. They do have a painting competition, so I'm actually going to enter my first one.
Ooh, cool.
And so yeah, so I've got an old. It's a 1980s model from Grenadier, and it's a red dragon, but it's a metal dragon that's like large scale. And so it was designed to be glued together, but the glue is broken so many times over the years that I have to go in and like try to metal pin it.
Okay.
I've done it with plastic, and that's really easy. You can use paper clips, but this is metal. I mean, it's a heavy pewter, and yeah, so I got to get it together, and I've just started doing all the base coating on it. Been stuck on that. I've been working on some VCR repair too. So I don't know. Just the last couple of months, I've picked up a lot of VHS tapes. Just a lot of collectible things. Old, like I found a couple, like a Spawn, the Spawn movie on VHS tape.
Oh yeah. The old
yeah.
Spawn.
So I mean, it's just that's solid media. I mean, I know I could watch it digitally on my computer and it would look a lot better and sound better, but something I don't have in like those VHS tapes is just kind of cool. But I had a VCR TV combo I've been messing with trying to get working, and there's an electrical short somewhere in the board I just can't track down. I'm not that proficient in electronics like
evil.
that.
You gotta. So you think is it a problem with the VHS or just like the cord or?
No, it's something in the board. I mean, it's an internal component. I've been watching YouTube videos trying to figure it out and trying to do there's a multi-select switch that corrodes on these things. Obviously they're 30, 40 years old now, so but it's just a diode inside. It's a thing that tells the computer inside the circuit board where the VHS tape is physically in the machine.
Oh, okay.
And that piece, it moves, but it corrodes. So the electrodes, they corrode over. So you got to take it apart, clean them. That usually fixes 90% of the problems with VHS tapes, players. But not in this case.
Unfortunately, yeah.
No, I went through this. I figured that maybe the belt is slipping and it's throwing the timing off, and it's just doesn't know how to calculate where the tape's at, or whether it's in or out, but it just got to a point every time you put in a tape, it would start playing for a second, and then the whole TV unit would just shut off. So that's a safety thing to try to prevent something from breaking. Something is jamming, something is not fully going. But I've got hours in the last week trying to get this thing up and going. So I think I'm gonna give up on it, and I have a bunch of VHS players I've picked up over the
you go a different route. Fuck this machine. We got other machines.
It was just neat because it's a TV VCR combo that actually I got out of my mom's basement. So she had a DVD combo, which I have, and it works, and it's awesome. And I've been watching just some of the shittiest DVDs, like Giant Piranha Attack. They're just those great 80s
early
movies,
80s, late 80s,
like
90s.
Lorenzo Lamas and Debbie Gibson are starring, and you're like, oh, this has got to be just fantastic, and it is. It's just, if you like B movies, I would definitely recommend giant piranha.
We don't really
It's,
get many
mega
of those
piranha.
much anymore. You know,
No, the shark. It's kind of that
the dying
Sharktornado like motif. It's
Right.
kind of that same thing. But I've just picked up a stack of the stuff lately. I don't know why. Going thrifting with the wife, and you hit the. I don't know, check out what they got over here, and I just have come across just some gems, just things that, just weird shit. Any of those '80s like I'm always looking for like the '80s sci-fi action films, because they had the Conan the Barbarian in '82.
Yeah.
82 came out, and everybody tried to follow, and so you had Swords and Sorcery, you had Beastmaster, and
Beastmaster.
the Barbarian Brothers, and all the stuff. And so everybody was putting this stuff out there, and I'm just trying to find that media now. Short of going to eBay and buying it, I really want to find it like in the wild.
Right.
I want to hunt it down. So it's just something. It's something fun my wife and I have been doing for probably most of the year. So
That's super
I'm
cool.
getting up for it. And my stepdad, he owns a bar, as some of you may know, we've talked about before. So he's got a bar, and people will bring in stuff from time to time because he's just this old European guy that sells stuff too. He does flea marketing, but he had, and he gave to me all of the Star Trek original series VHS tapes.
Oh.
So I have, the only one he didn't have was the first episode, The Cage, for the series. This is the 83 or 85. I don't remember right offhand, but I think it's 85. Series. The first time they printed up the whole series, so it's all 79 episodes technically. I'm not going to get into Star Trek fanatic shit. We can dive deep on it, but it's the 80 episodes that the common man would or 79 episodes the common Star Trek man would know. And so now I have all those on VHS. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. They take up a lot of space, but it's just really cool to have. And I did actually order up a episode 1 VHS tape on eBay. So someone was kind enough to have one of those sealed and sent that out to me. So it was nice.
That's super cool.
Not bad, so I have that, but really excited. I'm probably put up a display on that. So this is my hobby room, as you can see, like all my shit behind me. And in the wall right there on the other side of this wall is my kid's bedroom. So he graduated college, he moved back, he's got a job now. Probably sometime early to mid next year, he'll probably get a place of his own, and I can expand.
There you go.
My hobby network. It's a very that was awesome because it was my wife's idea. She's like, yeah, between all of the the painting collection and stuff that you've been doing, your video game thing, the streaming, the all the miniature paintings and stuff like that. I mean, I haven't really tabletop gamed too much, but I've been painting the hell out of these miniatures. So
Right.
I've got one heck of a stack, and I just keep buying them. She's like, you like buy 5 but paint 1, and then go out and buy like 5 more. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of the nature of it. But
Welcome to painting miniatures.
yeah, so that's my life outside of Eve. That's what I've been going on to. Like, I've still trying to get back into it. It's just a little mini break. It's my summertime. I don't know. Like I said, I'm busy. We had our village festival this weekend. Been doing a lot of drone work with that, crowd control and oversight and that kind of stuff. So just busy that aspect of it. So public safety, it's a thing.
So yeah, I've been going similar kind of route of where I haven't been in Eve very much lately at all. In fact, all of my kills on my board right now are from what happened today. We got some good, solo PvPs. Kind of hung out with some people. Tried to get some gate camping in. Tried to kill the Brudix, but we failed. And I got a bunch of good little solo kills. We were fucking around. But really, a lot of what I've been doing so lately is that I went to Gen Con. and I ran a 4-person mage game, just a little introductory kind of course, and then we did a 8-person Vampire the Masquerade game that I like to call a TARP, where it's a tabletop LARP, where you're like forced into this. You're like, you have like a full background of who you are, what you're trying to accomplish. Like you're all Primogen, you're all leaders of the vampires of Madison, and there's the Tremere, the wizards of the vampires that gets the head leader gets murdered off, and you gotta like, it's like a detective, who did it type kind of thing. But also along with the who did it is that it doesn't matter if even they did it or not. People are trying to like take advantage of this situation that's kind of coming on, of like overthrowing the current prince and the current leader of the vampires. And everybody has different, like, one person's blood bound to another person can break that blood bound, and like, like, it's all like, there's all these different like kind of scenarios that kind of come up depending on how the players kind of do it. And this time, actually, so last time we had like the Ventru, the kings and princes, the assholes basically, who like know that they run things, kind of won out when I did this the original time. And this time actually it was really interesting because the everybody
awesome.
kind of were behind the scenes, were kind of working on this in order to make it for, which I thought was one of the weakest like princes that I've kind of seen come in to this game, that I've kind of run a few times. And he like comes in and he's all about like, I want to make sure I'm working with everybody. He's like very timid kind of leader, and he ended up like holding his status because of all this backroom dealing that all went on, like right all underneath his. He didn't even know what the fuck was going on. So we had a bunch of fun with that. I also did the EVE Online, what would we call it? The history of an online universe is basically EVE Online. Is this like, I'm trying to like bring out this thing where I do an hour seminar at EVE or at Gen Con about the history of EVE Online. So the first year that I did that was last year. I had 30 people sign up and like 11 people show up. And it was pretty good. We showed what's going on and talked about EVE. And I did basically the same thing this year, where we show the video of like the, here's all the different stuff that happens in EVE. We did the I was there video, made sure people kind of saw that, get a base idea of what EVE Online is. Because some people that came didn't know what EVE Online was at all. They were like, "What the fuck is this?" And like I would tell them the story and the board game. The 4X strategy game online is basically the way that I kind of showed them, was like, there's this bigger, story that's kind of happening in EVE. But we, went over all, not all the details, but some details about like the beginning and stuff. And all of a sudden, like, I'm just like getting into my groove at this event, at this seminar. It's about 50 minutes, 45 minutes is what you kind of get for your speech. And like, what I thought was like 10 minutes in was like 40 minutes in, and my wife was like, "You got 5 minutes." You need to like shut
Wrap
down.
it up. Oh my gosh.
Wrap it on up.
Oh.
And I'm like, holy shit. I got some good praises from people this year. So we went from 11 people that came in on the first time that we did this last year. I think maybe up to 15. And this year we had 26. I want to say 26 people that showed up out of 36 tickets that were sold for the event. These are free tickets. Just, come and hear me about EVE Online. So that was really nice, kind of like bump up of the amount of people that we had. more interest in that. Next year, I plan on doing, but being more specific as the exact. Like, I'm gonna just basically be like, I'm gonna talk about 2008, 2010, like that's, or 2015, 2025, like type kind of thing.
Yeah, instead of trying to do the whole
You
history.
break it down, because you can't say the whole history. You can't even give
No,
a
not a
summary
45-minute
of the whole
conversation. That's a
fucking
lot.
right. It's so much.
You're jumping over so much stuff, yeah.
But a lot of people were like, "Holy shit, that was super cool! I really liked what you did. I got a lot of praise. We had some CVA there. We had a bunch of other people that kind of showed up, and yeah, it was super cool. And I also really want to turn this into a event for Gen Con, where similar to what we do with the Madison meetup, I want to do a Gen Con meetup where, like similar to what kind of we do. And speaking of that, is that we have the Gen Con meeting coming September 12th, not the 11th, because
Madison
we're not
meetup?
celebrating September 11th. We're celebrating September 12th, the day after all the horrible shit happened. Anyways, so we're but we actually
so if you're
on September
in the
11th,
Madison,
we are going to do
Wisconsin
some
area,
stuff.
we'd love you guys to swing on by to the AO bar. We'll be there. IO bar.
IO, yep.
IO.
Saturday, September 12th. We're going to be hanging out in Madison, Wisconsin, playing video games, having fun, talking about EVE. We'll do some giveaway stuff. We might have some special things that might be handed out to some people. We Killer Queen tournament will probably happen. And yeah, we're just gonna have a lot of fun. So come on down, September 12th, Madison, Wisconsin, middle of the United States. We got people flying in from fucking Japan. So don't tell me it's too far away. Japan is really fucking far away from us.
Yeah, and this is a no-dough show. Just show up and
yeah, you don't
have
need a
fun. Hang
ticket,
out with us for a little
nothing
bit.
special or anything.
Well,
You just
If you want to come in, I said Samus and I will be there Friday night. Well, he'll be in a little bit for me. I'll be in there Friday.
Right, I think
So we
Samson's
will
coming on, like,
we will be
Wednesday.
doing some icebreakers on Friday. If you're in the area, hop on the Discord. Let us know.
Yeah, we'll
We've
put
got
a
thing there
link
for
in the
Madison
Discord.
meetup, and yeah, we'll meet up. We'll tell you where we're at, and if you have a tent and you want to camp out in Frozen's backyard.
Yeah, I got
just
a
when-
giant fence now too. I got a cool giant fence for my dogs.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
when we all hang out, the dogs don't need
For
to
your
be on a
huge giant
leash.
dogs?
They're just gonna be running around like
Oh,
wild
wow.
animals,
Okay, awesome.
causing chaos. Well, we have
Oh, that's-
fire. We worship the fire gods, and we're gonna see what my giant Great Danes do.
Yeah, 2 Great Danes. Those things take up some space.
Just
so.
a little bit of space. But we'll also do some board games. We'll hang out. So, I mean, a lot of it is, it's just basically like from like Wednesday to Saturday, or Sunday, we basically are just gaming and hanging out. Sunday
Yeah,
is the big day that we kind of hang, this is when we're going to go to IO and we're going to do the main event for this. But the rest of it is just us hanging out. And
Yeah, we'll
just
grab
having
a burger or
fun.
something Friday night, and then Sunday morning we'll have a brunch, and then we'll probably go our separate ways. But
Yep. Yeah. Sunday we usually go to Lazy Jane's. Do a little Lazy Jane action there. So.
so I just wanted to backtrack a little bit because you brought up Vampires the Masquerade. So I thought it was cool. I didn't go to Gen Con, but I was trying to follow a lot of stuff in it. But they actually are introducing a new version of Vampires the Masquerade.
Yes.
Correct? They're doing a version
Yes.
6. on
Version
that?
6. I got to talk to some of the
Really cool.
developers about that as well during Gen Con.
Again, I haven't played it formally at all. I just, like I said, kind of looked into it, but it looks like a really fun game. So, or if you had a group that you could play with, but I thought that was exciting.
Yeah, no, Vampire 6, and then they also verified that Mage 6th edition, which they didn't get a 5th edition, but Mage 5th or 6th edition, the new edition, a new edition of Made the Ascension is going to be coming out at some point here. It is on the roadmap. It is the plan for them to come out with a new edition of Mage, which I am super excited about because I love reality bending. I love the whole concept of what Mage is. I love the whole, like, one of the things that just blows me away about Mage is, like, if it just kind of turns everything on its head, where it's like the flat earthers are not so crazy anymore. Like, I watch a lot of flat earth videos, not because I believe in flat earth. I don't. I mean, like, we figured this out, like, 3,000 fucking years ago, dudes. Like, there was just a dude who was like, if you look on the horizon, boats go far enough away, they go beyond the horizon and they dip down. They slowly go away like you're on a fucking globe. It's not that fucking hard. Like, literally, like, you don't need anything else. Just a philosopher in the year fucking AD, or BC, sorry, in the year BC, any of the years BC, a philosopher looks at a man or a ship on the horizon and just disappears. You're like, okay, the earth isn't flat. But that said, in Mage, you're kind of an asshole for being like the earth is round. You're like, it's like, well, I mean, is that like a technocratic thing? Is that something that's built upon? Although if I was to like put myself into Mage, I would be one of those people that'd be like, no, the earth is round. Like, I'm not refuting like evidence of physical actions. Now, maybe at one point it wasn't, and I'm not going to debate because, like, I'm not there unless you like take me to that time in that zone. You know, if I go into the Umbra or something, you know, I mean, I can find a flat Earth for you, believe me. Like, but like, it's this Earth flat? Like, it's crazy because it's all about like perception and how perception interacts with reality, which I find to be really interesting when you tone it all the way down to like. So I'm not like in the belief that you can just like make a fireball, right? But I am of the belief that your interpretation of reality is super fucking important. Of like how you interpret reality. Like, that's just it doesn't matter what the truth of anything is. It really matters how you perceive things and how you interact with the environment around you. You know, there's definitely a crazy person who is talking to something that doesn't exist at all, but you know, it exists to them. And I take this all the way down to like dreams. So you're like, it's like, well, that doesn't exist. It's like, well, in a dream it does, right? Like, that's, you got dreams, and like there's all different types of reality, different types of interaction, hallucinations and shit that like it might not be true, but it is what you experience, and that's important. I think that changes everything for how you interact with the rest of the world. If you think somebody is an asshole, you're going to treat them like an asshole, regardless of whether they're an asshole or not. Whether the true doesn't matter. What's true to you actually matters. Like, to you.
Oh, there's a whole philosophical study on, your belief systems and, what your thoughts. I actually have a childhood friend who's a college professor in philosophy out in California, and trying to talk with him too, because it's one of his big things that he teaches, specifically, like, the number 5. The reason number 5 has value is because you provide number 5 that value. That's what makes it a number 5. And because if you didn't, it would be something else. But the only reason the number 5 is the number 5 is because you interpret it that way.
Right, yeah.
And it goes way. To talk to, obviously, I'm not doing it justice. I'm not a philosopher, but you talk to him, and it's amazing, of just kind of blowing your mind. And I don't know, it's fun. It's fun to kind of play those mental experiments sometimes when you're in the right mood. So,
right. Well, yeah. But, I mean, well, yeah. Sometimes you got to take mushrooms. Sometimes you have to be in a mental state.
It's kind of based around belief systems and changing the warping of reality, and if you can change your perspective, on something, it can change your whole
So
world.
I think one of the
that's
things that's
interesting.
easy to really understand is in one way that I've kind of had it put to me that's interesting on the reality bending aspect. So it's like, okay, so you get really out there and it's like, I have reality bend so I can like move Earth or whatever and do the Force, the whatever, fuck that shit. What I'm talking about is like how you perceive reality. So one of the quick ways of kind of putting this out there is the idea of I'm driving down the street and somebody cuts me off. I now have the ability as a human to interpret the situation in different ways. I can say he's an asshole. He's cutting me off. He's a fucking piece of shit, and he's just an
Absolutely.
asshole.
You should
Fuck
probably
him.
die.
Fuck
Cut
him.
you off
I'm
like
gonna
that.
fucking run him off the road. I'm gonna go road rage. I'm gonna get mad. Fuck him. Or I can be like, what if there's a family emergency going on? What if there's a pregnant or dying person in that car, and cutting me off doesn't really fucking matter anymore, right? You're just like, oh, you can fucking cut me off all day long, man. You gotta fucking go. Like, the thing is that you don't know the truth, right? You don't. I mean, you could know. There is a true truth,
Absolutely.
right? There is a true truth of what's going on. But in the moment of interpretation, you don't have the true truth. You have what you perceive and how you interpret the situation. So why don't you interpret positively instead of negatively? It is really easy to go, this guy's just an asshole. Because, I mean, obviously,
Oh, that's
people are
probably
assholes.
more chance, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
more
higher
like,
chance. It's a
the
higher
thing is,
chance.
He's self-important and doesn't care about you.
But
So,
you don't know if that's true. You just know that's a possibility. Why don't you just go over to even if it's less likely, maybe something fucking wrong's happened? Because to be honest, I don't get cut off very often. I don't have road rage incidents. It's rare for these to kind of come up. Now, the more that you drive, you put yourself in that situation multiple times. Yeah, 15 people cut you off. Probably 14 of them were assholes. But I bet you one of them wasn't. They had a family emergency. They had something going on. So why don't you just say all of them are the family emergency until you know the true truth? And if you never get to true, then fuck it, you're just gonna make it up anyways, right? So why make it up as bad and you can make it up as good? And that's the whole, like, I do believe there is a truth, but I also believe that a lot of what we do is just guesswork. And a lot of what we do is guesswork on the bad. These guys, obviously, because it's like 80% fucking likely this guy's an asshole, I'm just going to say he's an asshole. But it's 20% likely he's not an asshole.
People kind of suck, I think, for the most part. A lot of people just suck. So.
Some people, I give you that there is a lot of roughness. And this is where the higher you go, this is where I think that the lower echelons suck for very different reasons than the higher echelons of people. Lower echelons of people are kind of forced into their situation of dealing with shit. Like, you're just here. But the higher, the people who actually control the means of production, the people who actually control the world around us and manipulate the living fuck out of it. These guys are assholes. And I fucking hate them. That's the reason why I'm like, fuck the people in charge. And I'll always be fuck the people in charge, because of course I'm not in charge. And once I become in charge, then it's all okay. I did it. I fucking made it right. No, but I'm actually, to be truthful, I'm probably an asshole if I'm the one in charge. Like, that's how you get in charge. Like, that's how you get to places of power, is through corruption and manipulation. Anyways, I think we've gone way off topic.
That's way off topic. We were talking about spaceship
games. So let's go back to spaceship games and the philosophy of Eve, where a lot of the people who are blowing you up are assholes.
Yeah, most of them. Most of them suck, and they're self-centered assholes. So.
But they are also just looking for a way to have fun in Eve. One thing I wanted to kind of bring up, and I thought was very interesting. I wanted to write this huge thing on it. but I think maybe we'll just talk about it on the podcast here, is about the... So the question was posed on Reddit: is EVE Online good for casual people? So I'm gonna throw this to you real quick and see what's your kind of reaction if somebody kind of came to you and was like, is EVE good for a casual player? What is your thoughts on that?
Oh, that's a big question, actually.
It is a pretty big question.
I guess like a lot of things, it would really. What are you trying to get out of the game? I
think it's a really big question.
I personally wasn't able to do that. It was one of those things that once I kind of got into it, like I got like really into it, like it kind of sucked me in and put its hooks in me. And so I don't know that I ever had the chance to do it kind of haphazardly, but I don't know. I can say.
Well, how many hours do you think that you put into EVE?
Like, hey, if I'm gonna just log in and do my dailies or whatever, that's just a casual play.
Right, but, I would say casual play would be. I would put myself in the casual player, even though I have a podcast, I have a stream, and I definitely play EVE, but in the last 2 weeks, I've basically played. I play on Wednesdays, and I've skipped this last Wednesday because I had toothache problems and issues that were going on. The last Wednesday after that, I had to go to Gen Con, so I've missed 2 Wednesdays that I normally do EVE. I played on Sundays, and I skipped all of Wednesday or Saturday. I haven't done anything throughout, all of this game, and I think EVE Online is an extremely casual game, if you ask me. Skill points, are, especially when you're like starting the game, you can be like, I started my character and I didn't play for 2 weeks, and I've advanced my character 2 weeks. Like that's huge. Like you can't go to Final Fantasy, you can't go to World of Warcraft or do any other kind of game casual like that. You can't enhance your character in 2 weeks without playing the game. In EVE Online, you can do that. I can put up a ton of market orders and buy orders and sell orders on EVE, and the best thing for me to do is to log the fuck off and not touch those fucking buy and sell orders and just see what the fuck happens with them. Like if I have the best buy order and best sell order, somebody's gonna beat me. Somebody's gonna come on 2 hours later and be like, oh, I'm gonna beat that. But it's a ebb and flow of the market, right? It as things get bought, it's things are more expensive and they sell. So sometimes it's more expensive, sometimes it's cheaper depending on when you're buying. But if you're patient, you can put up things on the market for about what their value is at this time, and you'll get that value out of them. But you have to wait a little while, or you can immediately sell something and lose like 25, 30, 40, 50, 99% of the value, right? Like you just lose everything from just a quick order sell on this game. It's very rewarding to casual players, I say. Like you could grind for ISK or skill points. You can kind of do that, right? Like you can grind for ISK and then buy skill points with those ISK. But you can also just wait. Like, and that's I feel like waiting in EVE is like patience in EVE is crazy, like powerful. That never is involved in other games. Like waiting in other games is like, oh, you're waiting for your your queue to like fill up so that you can have the full party so you can go do a thing, and it's like a 5-minute wait. In EVE, you can just sit there on a gate for like 2 hours and be like, I don't know, and then all of a sudden a 4 billion ISK fucking freighter jumps in, and you're like, like I waited 4 hours for this. Like it's you know, there is a lot of like, you know, it's not just you can't just sit anywhere and wait for that. You wait and you vang your charm, right? You wait in hey Dialis, you wait in different areas to see, you know, that you've seen this activity. Udama is like, you know, that's where gankers just sit and wait for something to jump, you know, some juicy motherfucking idiot to jump in on them. Eve is all about the waiting game, and that I think benefits casual players way more than hardcore players. Players that are on 24/7 and just going nuts and just trying to find content will burn themselves out, I feel like, harder than people who are treat Eve casual long run. Like, I'm a casual long runner. I'm gonna play this game whenever I fucking play it. I'm gonna have fun with it when I have fun with it. But I'm also gonna be able to lay it down and be like, yeah, I gotta go for 2 weeks. I'm not gonna be involved in anything at all for 2 weeks. And I'm still going to enhance my character. I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna, you know, advance my whole without even touching the game anymore, because I've set myself up for success by, you know, not having to be on 24/7. You don't need to be on Eve 24/7 to make a difference. You need to play Eve, sell some shit, and get involved. Now, the more that you want to do an Eve, if you want to be like an emperor, you want to run an entire fucking Eve Online organization. And even though, and the funny thing is that this even detracts from the whole idea of being like a hardcore gamer. You don't need to play Eve to run an empire in Eve. You need to be dedicated to Eve to run an Eve empire, which means that you need to be on Discord. You need to be talking to people. You need to be interacting with the diplomacy and the leadership qualities of doing something. But you don't need to be logged in. There's some of the greatest leaders in EVE Online have barely ever logged into the game. You know, they just check it out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was always like the big joke too, with like the Mittani of like having never undocked a ship, but you know, you're this, you know, tyrant in charge of this large, you know, organization. So
right, yeah, no, exactly, like Bob and
yeah, right.
The fucking A, why am he's skipping my mind. Sir Manole? I gotta look this up now because this is ridiculous. Leader of
yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the great things about Eve is that you can play it without being like also totally engaging it. Like, I can log in, like you can do PI, you can do
Sir
market
Mole. It was the leader of Bob. Sorry, I had to get this out because I knew it was his name, but I was just like, is that right? I don't know why my brain is shut down on that. But people, you know, like, although Sir Malloy actually fucking came out and he lost to like 3 Titans at one point, like very quickly, one after another. Within within a 1 year span, he lost like 3 of the biggest giant ships in this game. But yeah, so it's I think it's a casual. I think this is a perfect casual game, especially with the alpha system that they have. There's no better time to create an EVE Online character than right now. If you don't have one EVE Online character and you're interested in EVE in any way, shape, you think that it's going to be 5 years before you're going to have enough time to actually play EVE, get your character right now. Because then you'll have a bunch of skill points by the time that you actually get to your character. Even if you go to the just alpha, you'll have like what, 10 million skill points, 15, something like that. Like better than this, like under 1 million skill points that you start with, right?
They maxed out at 5 million as an alpha.
5 million.
Yeah.
So 5 million is 5 times more than any other starter.
Well, that's just when you stop accumulating them passively. You can
Right.
still get skill points. You can still burn skill points. You can have the gifted skill points that they give you for doing the dailies and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
You can move up that way, but yeah, you're not going to passively, Mango and Night Flyer, they're passively getting skill points every day because they're Omega. It's just so. But yeah, I mean, I think that is one of the really nice things about this game, and why, some of us have played it this long, is, I've been busy this week and there hasn't been a whole lot I could do, but I still get involved and do. Like I said, I do my dailies. I built some ships. I did some PI. I did some market stuff.
I think one of the big things
I
is
didn't have to actually be like actively engaging and doing stuff. Like, the only other game I really play is Cyberpunk 2077, and that you actually have to be paying attention to and doing and acting and like physically like kind of working with. Otherwise, your character's not doing it. It's
right.
not doing anything.
And yeah, exactly. In Eve, there's a lot of waiting of like, I put on something onto the market, I'm waiting for it to sell. I put something to build, I'm waiting for it to build. Like, you don't say I build something and you get an item. You say I'm on to build something. You use a bunch of items to make an item, and then it says this will take a day, like, or an hour,
I can craft a gun or a weapon in Cyberpunk, and it's ready as soon as you hit the button. Let's go. All right, you crafted it. Now you have it. Like, okay.
But if you want to build stuff in Eve, I mean, at the very least, it's like minutes, right? Like, for the most part, I feel like it's around like an hour. And then if you want to build battleships, it's like a day. And then if you want to build a Titan, it's like 6 months or something like that in order to like get all the materials and everything, all the things built that you need to build. EVE Online is a game that is about waiting and time and being part of the universe more so than it is about a game of grinding. Like, and I feel like all the other games are about grinding. So we do have a boss battle that has been requested, so we'll put in a boss battle here real quick.
This is something I thought was really interesting. It was Marquis Dragon pointed out. It's because he has a Hell blueprint. Not a copy, the actual blueprint. He's like, yeah, so to research that to maximum, so it's like 10 out of 10 or whatever, it's something like 7 years.
Yeah, you got to
research it.
Not worth it unless you're going to be playing for 20 fucking years.
Right, and so he's like, it literally makes no sense to do it. He's like, if I put it in the cooker, because you can't use that blueprint while it is cooking.
And you do have to kind of put that into consideration.
Useless. So what, you can save 10% in build time or something? So it just makes zero sense to do that. I just thought that was like fascinating.
Yeah, I did see a video.
This game's got that kind of
long-term
vision into it.
Yeah, there's some crazy long-term systems that you can kind of put into this game of building something or upgrading something to its highest level. Is basically like you're basically saying, yeah, I'm going to play this game for 30 years. Like that's that's what the end result is. And but a lot of it, the lower levels, is not that bad. Like, it's not that bad in the sense of it's like it's a year, but it's like a lot of us are like, yeah, we're gonna play. I'm gonna play next year. Today I'm gonna be here. That's no question. But yeah. So I think we've gone over a bunch of different stuff. Come to us Saturday, September 12th, 2026. We're all gonna be hanging out. We do have a boss battle, but I think I was the only one involved in it. So
I forgot to hit my thing. Sorry, man.
No problem.
I was scrolling.
I think we're gonna wrap things on up here, though. Unless, is there anything else that you want to talk about?
No, that was it. I just want to make sure we actually covered the Madison thing. It was about the only thing I logged in here to talk to you about tonight.
That was it. That was our.
Everything else was just made up.
Yeah,
so Oh, there's the AT tournaments coming up too.
AT tournaments
And,
coming up soon.
Just throw that out there. So
Important.
do some stuff. Watch it.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for
Yeah.
watching. Thank you for coming on. We're going to wrap things all up on here. I'm going to find somebody for you to raid here. And have a great night.
Good night, everybody.